Hey guys, my name is Tracy, and today I'm here to share 6 things you need to know before traveling in 2026. The first is that entry requirements are different in every country, and they often change quite frequently as well. What this means is that what requirements you needed to visit a country last year may not necessarily be the same requirements that you need to visit the following year. For example, while Canadians may enjoy visa free travel to visit South Korea right now, as of December 31st, 2025, Canadians will now have to apply for the Korean Electronic Travel Authorization, also called as the K-ETA, in order to visit South Korea. Without this, you may not even be able to board the airplane. Please visit the official websites of all the countries you'll be traveling in advance in order to be more up to date and in order to be prepared. It's the worst thing and the worst feeling to go and board an airplane not realizing that you do not have the requirements in order to travel that country. Don't be that person, folks, and just go ahead and make sure you do your research. The second tip is that passports do expire and you may not make it to your flight if you don't plan in advance. While some countries only require that you have a valid passport for the entire duration of your stay, most countries will require that your passport be valid 6 months after your travel date. So please make sure that before you even think about traveling, that your passport is active and has as many years on it as possible. The third tip I have is to ensure that the name written in your boarding pass matches exactly the name that is written in the government ID that you are presenting the boarding agent when you are boarding the aircraft. The boarding agent's job is to ensure that the person in front of them is the person who they say they are. And to do that, they look at your boarding pass and they look at the government ID, whether that be your driver's license or your passport, of course, depending on the flight that you're on. And then they see the names. If there is even a single letter different, you don't get on the aircraft. Simple as that. And they need time to fix it. So, of course, mistakes happen when you book your ticket, and maybe you've spelled it wrong when you were rushing to book that ticket, and you've noticed, oh, it's not the right spelling. You have three options to rectify this mistake. The first is after booking the ticket, whether that be online or maybe even on the phone. You've spelled it wrong. You've noticed after the email comes out that your name has a misspell. There is an extra letter or a missing letter. You go ahead and contact the airline directly and you tell them this is what's going on. Chances are they can change that for you right away because you have just booked the ticket. The second option is before leaving for the airport from your house, you've noticed, okay, the government ID I have, the driver's license, or the passport I have, it doesn't match with the boarding pass that I carry. When you get into the airport, you go to the check-in counter of your airline and you tell them right away, hey, they don't match. Please help me fix it. The third and the last chance you have is just before boarding. When you're out there sitting in the boarding lounge, I'm sure you've gotten there 2 hours early or how early you managed to get there, and you've noticed, oh, these two, they don't match. That's when you stand up and you go to the boarding agent. You tell them right away, please help me fix it. My names, they don't match. Before boarding begins, they have that little time to make sure that all the bags are there, the numbers are great, and all the whole shebang with boarding. But once boarding begins, they have no time to help you out. And if they did, you might cause that flight to be delayed. So, all that hassle, you can avoid it if you simply ensure, even before leaving for the airport, that your boarding pass as well as your government ID matches exactly to a T. My fourth tip talks about seat selection fee. If you are booking those tickets in advance, those plane tickets in advance, it also asks you if you would like to go and book your seat selection for a fee. My advice, go ahead and do exactly that. It does come with a price, however, it also guarantees the seat that you want, whether that be an aisle seat closer to the lavatories, or maybe closer to the front, or maybe you just want a window seat closer to the back where it's quieter. Go ahead and book those seats as soon as you can because, especially on a very busy international flight, those seats may not be available if you wait until check in. If you have a specific seat that you want, you book those tickets with those seats right away. Otherwise, you might just be in the middle seat in a 10-hour flight. My fifth tip is actually not a surprise, but it is new information for a lot of people, so I thought I should mention it. But that on domestic flights, you're actually allowed to bring food from home on board to consume. And that for moms with young infants, for babies, you're also allowed to bring your baby formulas in. In terms of food from home, this is specifically for domestic flights and maybe some international flights as well. But you are allowed to bring those sandwiches in. You're allowed to bring those snackle box that you've prepared full of the snacks that you actually want to eat instead of the $10 or the $15 snacks that you buy at the airport or even on the airplane. These are things that you can bring on board and you can consume it on board as well. Of course, it is different when you are going to international flights that may have specific requirements, like not bringing food on board that have meat in it or fresh fruits. In terms of domestic flights, however, and I may be able to speak for most countries in this situation, that you are allowed to bring food that you have packed at home just so you can consume it on the airplane. In terms of baby formulas, of course, it might be going over the 100 ml limit, and this is why you have to make sure that you let yourself known to the agents when when you are going through security, so that they are aware that it is for the baby, and in that instances, they do make an exception for you. So something to think about. My sixth tip talks about special meals on transatlantic flights. Chances are you might need a specific meal. Perhaps you are vegetarian or you are vegan or you have intolerance to gluten. Or maybe for religious reasons, you need meals that are kosher or Muslim. In these situations, folks, you have to let the airline know in advance that you need these special meals because once you're on the aircraft and then you let the flight attendants know, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that because I am this, I am vegan, or perhaps I need meals that have no nuts on them, and chances are these meals both might have nuts on them. Let the airline know way in advance, as soon as you can, that you are in need of a special meal. Then they go ahead and load up those meals for you. The provisioners get specific instructions that you sitting in this number need this specific meal. Then you're good to go. However, if you don't tell anybody, you don't tell the airline in advance that you needed a special meal, a specific meal, then chances are your options get very, very limited once you get onto the aircraft. That's tip number 6. That's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.